Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem, and in today's top stories. An attempted car ramming and shooting attack was reported at an Israeli military post adjacent to the West Bank village of Yabad, which is situated west of the city of Jenin. Despite a tightly enforced nationwide lockdown, Israel is experiencing a steady rise in coronavirus cases. The Director General for the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Mariano Grossi, warns that in light of the Islamic Republic's evident push in all that pertains to enrichment of uranium, world powers have merely weeks to revive the Iran nuclear deal. An attempted car ramming and shooting attack was reported at an Israeli military post adjacent to the West Bank village of Yabad, which is situated west of the city of Jenin. The IDF spokesperson's unit informed TV7 that during an inspection at a routine IDF security crossing on Saturday, a vehicle accelerated towards IDF troops in an attempt to run them over. As a result, an IDF soldier was hit by the assailant's vehicle. In tandem, one of the suspected terrorists drew a Carlo submachine gun from the car's window, yet failed to shoot at the IDF troops. Subsequently, the armed assailant dropped his weapon when the driver managed to flee the scene. And while the terrorists remain at large, the IDF, in cooperation with the Israeli security agency Shin Bet, launched a manhunt after the two assailants. In other news, despite a tightly enforced nationwide lockdown, Israel is experiencing a steady rise in coronavirus cases, with nearly 70,000 active carriers of the disease, of whom 1,044 Israelis are currently hospitalized in moderate to critical condition. Over the past 24 hours alone, 7.4% of almost 93,000 tests conducted were diagnosed positive for the corona contagion. Nevertheless, Israeli authorities are projecting optimism, placing their hopes in a robust national effort to inoculate the masses. According to figures released by the Israeli Health Ministry this morning, 1,870,652 Israelis have already received the first dose of the coronavirus vaccine, 49,879 of them on Sunday alone. Speaking upon the arrival of yet another shipment of 750,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who was inoculated himself for a second time on Saturday, revealed that a staggering 72% of Israelis above the age of 60 have already been vaccinated.
אני סיכמתי עם ידידי מנכ"ל פייזר אלברט בורלה שאנחנו נביא משלוחים אחד אחרי השני ואנחנו נשלים את חיסונה של האוכלוסייה הבוגרת מעל גיל 16 בישראל במהלך חודש מרץ. אני רוצה להגיד לכם איפה אנחנו נמצאים היום. היום אנחנו נמצאים עם למעלה מ-72% מבני 60 ומעלה שחוסנו, ואנחנו נשלים את זה. ביום ראשון הבא יבוא משלוח ענק נוסף, ואנחנו מתחילים בחיסונם של השכבה הבאה, בני 50 ומעלה, 50 עד 60, וככה נתקדם. אנחנו סיכמנו, שר הבריאות ואנוכי, שאנחנו נתחיל לעלות היום, כבר היום, לקצב של 170,000 חיסונים ביום. זה שיא עולמי.
It is worth mentioning that according to the Our World in Data website, which is run by the research organization Oxford Martin School, Israel's vaccination rate is by far the fastest compared to the rest of the world, with 19.5% of the general public inoculated with a Pfizer vaccine. In contrast to voiced concerns by some groups within Israeli society over a lack of data regarding potential long-term side effects to the corona vaccine, Dr. Guy Hoshen, who heads the COVID-19 ward at the Sauraski Medical Center at Ichilov Hospital in Tel Aviv, voiced his personal excitement over receiving his second dose, highlighting the significance of attaining a projected 95% protection in a hazardous work environment.
There's truly an excitement. I'm excited to receive the second shot. That means that within 10 days, 12 days, I will have a 95% protection, which is a lot. It changes a lot for me. although this second shot increases the protection, increases my capabilities at work, and my self-confidence that I can enter the department without getting infected, it means a lot for me, for my wife, for my children.
Dr. Hoshen further addressed the current wave of infections throughout the state of Israel, voicing his personal hope that it would soon come to an end.
Hopefully, I hope that we'll get it through this wave, this immense wave of patients. We'll get it done. We'll be up to the challenge without many deaths. The toll won't be high.
In other news, the commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard's Aerospace Division, Brigadier General Amir Ali Hajizadeh, declared boastfully that the missile capabilities of both the Islamist groups in the Gaza Strip and Lebanon were accomplished by the support of Iran. In an interview with the Hezbollah affiliate Al-Manar network, General Hajizadeh was quoted as saying, "Today, there is a crossroads of fire from Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, and other Islamic countries towards the Zionist regime, and if in the past the power of our friends was limited to stones and rockets, now they are well equipped with precision-guided missiles, and many of them use these technologies." The RGC's Aerospace Division commander went on to boastfully proclaim that Gaza and Lebanon are at the forefront of this battle against Israel, and everything you see about missile power in Gaza and Lebanon has been done with the support of the Islamic Republic of Iran. General Hajizadeh further explained that the efforts to equip Israel's enemies with sophisticated missiles was a direct order by Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He highlighted, quote, "When the leader of the revolution said, 'If Israel makes a mistake, we will destroy Tel Aviv and Haifa,' it was a universal order, and we had to build that power, and this effort has been going on around the clock for years." Meanwhile, in Tehran, the Islamic Republic's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei stressed that his country is in no rush for the United States to rejoin the 2015 nuclear agreement, but rather demands that all sanctions imposed under the Trump administration would be lifted immediately.
بحث میکنن که آمریکا برگرده به برجام برنگرده. ما هیچ اصراری نداریم، هیچ عجله‌ای نداریم که آمریکا به برجام برگرده. نه، این اصلا مسئله ما این نیست که آمریکا به برجام برگرده یا برنگرده. اونچه که مطالبه منطقی ما و مطالبه عقلانی ماست رفع تحریم هاست. تحریم ها باید برداشته بشه. این حق غصب شده ملت ایرانه.
Khamenei's comments, which were made on Friday, came as the Islamic Revolutionary Guards unveiled an underground missile base at an undisclosed location, at the entrance of which flags of both the United States and Israel are placed on the floor for the RGC operatives to walk upon in a sign of disrespect. And while the showcased arsenal of ballistic missiles breaches the same UN Security Council resolution which endorsed the 2015 nuclear agreement, Ayatollah Khamenei insisted that the West is obliged to put an end to what he referred to as the vicious move to sanction his regime. Turning to the Austrian capital, Vienna, where the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Mariano Grossi, warned that in light of the Islamic Republic's evident push in all that pertains to enrichment of uranium, which currently stands, according to Tehran authorities, at 20%, world powers have merely weeks to revive the Iran nuclear deal before the Islamic Republic could somewhat easily cross the threshold necessary to attain nuclear weapons.
It's not for me to tell the President of the United States and the Presidents of France and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and China, Russia, etc., Germany, what to do. But it's clear that we don't have many months ahead of us. We have rather weeks.
The IAEA Director General further voiced his concern over an Iranian law that was passed in November, which obliges the Ayatollah regime to hold foreign inspections of Iranian nuclear sites. Grossi stressed that while the agency was not yet notified on the matter, it must be taken seriously.
If you ask me whether we have been informed of an impending suspension of our inspectors' activities, no, but they are in the law. But these provisions are in the law. So when you ask me, do you take it seriously? I take it seriously and I'm concerned.
It is important to highlight that enrichment levels of 5% are common practice in all that pertains to nuclear materials for civilian use. And while the Islamic Republic repeatedly denies aspirations to develop nuclear weapons, its activities on the ground are self-evident. Thank you for watching us. As part of TV7 Israel's prayer initiative, I would like to encourage you today to join myself and the team here in Jerusalem to lift up Finland once again in prayer for its salvation and peace, alongside prayers for our persecuted brethren around the world, and in addition to our ongoing prayers, of course, for the peace of Jerusalem, the salvation of Israel, and for all those who are impacted by the corona contagion and its numerous ramifications worldwide. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you an Erev Tov Ushavua Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.